Bayern Munich just won their first trophy of the season. Hopefully, it's the first of many in this season. We're looking for that Bundesliga. We're looking for the Pokal. We're looking for the Champions League. We're looking for this quadruple. In terms of the game summary against Leipzig, Leipzig weren't very good, it's fair to say, but Bayern also showed up. The formation from Nagelsmann was very smart. Bayern's players were wonderfully interchanging, and there were a series of interesting tactics utilized by Bayern. Let's get right into these player ratings though. So I'm going to start from the attack, as I always do. I think that Sadio Mané, the new signing, will be singing Mané, Mané, Mané all season long because he was pretty great. I'll give him a 7.5 rating. He scored a tap-in goal, but he also had two other goals which were ruled out for marginal offsides. He had great finishes in those. He was very active. He showed that he can be our striker, but he can also interchange with the other attacking players, so great performance from him. Serge Gnabry is a player I'm not the biggest fan of, I'll be honest, but I'll give him a 7.5 too. Like Mané, who's really involved. He had encouraging running, and he actually had an assist, but he also had a goal. And he was just interchanging. Maybe this role in the center is right for him because he can use his agility. He's not actually the fastest player, as some may think, but he can use his agility, he can interchange with other Bayern players, and he was very good as well. And another 7.5 rating for the Bayern forward line, Thomas Muller. He was back to his Raumdeutering best. He was playing in all those little gaps created. He was all over the pitch, even though he was mainly on the right side. He was all over the pitch today. He was in those little half spaces. He was playing 1-2s. He was giving instructions. He was in his element. It was an amazing performance from him. 7.5. He was crucial for the fourth goal, where he was played through in on goal, similar to the goal he scored against DC United. And this is showing that he will be involved in more goals this season. Nagelsmann's team will be involved across many heads, not just Lewandowski, not just a focal point. It'll be across all of them, and I fully expect Muller to once again, like in the past, like 5 years ago, like 7 years ago, once again to hit those 12, 13, 14 Bundesliga goal numbers. He was great. Now for the midfield, I thought Kimmich was not great. He was solid, he was okay. He was a 6.5. He was tidy in possession. He'd never had some really outrageous passes. He had some tidy things, a few decent through balls. He was decent, not excellent defensively as per usual. He's not the greatest defender, not the greatest defensive mid in this aspect, but I'll give him a 6.5. As for Sabitzer, I thought Sabitzer was truly amazing. I'll give him an 8.5 rating. He was great in possession. He was great with his switches of play, switching from left to right, front to center. It was incredible, and he was tenacious as well. He was really good in his interceptions, in his tackles. It was a Thiago-like display from Sabitzer, the best I've seen from him in Bavaria. Really good performance. He outshone Kimmich, and he shows why he needs to stay in Bavaria. He's had a great preseason. He's been great now. He was great at Leipzig. He can be great at Bayern. And I've just realized that I've forgotten the star boy, Jamal Musiala. 9.0 rating. Absolutely incredible performance from him. He had that first goal, which was so crucial. His close control was majestic, and he was just amazing. His dribbling, he had some Zidane pirouettes, some Maradona turns. It was truly amazing. He had some La Croquetas, switching the ball from both of his feet. Unlike someone like Leroy Sané, he's able to switch the ball through both of his feet interchangingly. He was amazing in that left half space. He has so much flair. He can be the best player in the world. I'm just saying it right now. Musiala, remember the name. Now for the defense. Giving up 3 goals, of course, is not going to be a great performance from the defense, but I thought they were pretty decent. Pavard, he gets a 6. I was originally going to give him a 7. He scored a goal, but he lost a header for one of Leipzig's corner goals, I believe. He was the one who lost the header. And although he was decent going forward, he had to actually push quite high, and he did some dangerous passes, some dangerous interplay with Muller, Gnabry, the likes of. But I thought that he also conceded the penalty, so he just gets a 6 rating. Not terrible because of his other redeeming factors, but it wasn't great. He was responsible for arguably 2 of the goals we conceded. Now for Upamecano, I thought this was a very good Upamecano performance. He was mature, he was sturdy in defense. you were never getting the feeling that you're going to get that Upamecano fart, like a Boateng, that we've seen in the past from him, where he has a massive mistake in his locker. He looked assured, and if this is a sign of things to come, De Ligt might even have a hard time getting into this Bayern team. Lucas Hernandez, very solid also, 7. Upper was a 7.5. Hernandez is a 7 rating. I thought he was very solid. He had great recovery pace, and he was just great. He was excellent. Maybe he should be 7.5, but I've given him a 7. He was very good. Alphonso Davies wasn't intensely good. His attacking left a bit to be desired. I'll give him a 6.5. He made some mistakes. His 1-2s weren't excellent. His dribbling wasn't always on point, but he was decent. He was Alphonso Davies. He was always a thorn in the opposition side. He was always pushing far into enemy territory, and I thought it was a decent performance. 6.5. Manuel Neuer is the one who had a stinker, though. Neuer was responsible for, well, he was just not very good. He had an early bad sweeping moment where he was left completely stranded after a Leipzig player passed him, and we were lucky not to concede in this instant. While Neuer also should have dealt better with the header goal they scored, and he was beaten at his near post for their third goal. So all in all, a bit of a stinker, shocking performance from Bayern's captain, and it's a 5 rating, unfortunately, for him. As for some of the subs, I think Gravenberch and Coman were decent. I don't give them ratings. They're NA, so to speak, non-applicable. But Sané, I won't give a rating to him, but I'll also commend him on his goal. It was a nice through ball to Sané. Sané did very well. It was a very tasty, very attractive goal, I'll be honest. But it was also a mixed performance from Sané. He lost the ball, he looked disinterested, and I'm not sure he will get into the Nagelsmann's team, I'll be honest. As for Nagelsmann, I think Nagelsmann gets a 7.5 rating. That might seem low. He had a great formation. This formation was like a 4-2-2-2 hybrid between that and maybe a 3-5-2 and a 4-2-3-1. You see here that Davies is pushed further forward than the other defenders, which means that Musiala has tucked inside, and Musiala was amazing in that left half space. It was a great tactical decision by Nagelsmann, as Musiala is able to get people on the turn, spin his man. And Muller, for one, also was quite tucked in. He was maybe more on the right side than Musiala was on the left, but Muller and Gnabry often interchange, so sometimes you found Muller in the centre and Gnabry on the right, and vice versa. But in other times you found Gnabry at striker, then Muller in the more attacking midfield, right attacking midfield role maybe. But this meant that Pavard also had to push forward, and this was a good tactic. It kept Muller in the centre where he belongs. We don't need him shifted on the right wing. But it was also effective in incorporating all of these Bayern players. I thought it was a very interesting tactic. This 4-2-2-2, which is quite narrow, but the fullbacks really providing that width. And I think Mazraoui will be crucial as a more offensive right back than Kimmich to be providing that width in the 4-2-2-2 to allow Muller to stay tucked inside. And it was a very interesting tactic. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm just happy Muller's in the middle. That's all that really matters. And it was great. But the reason I give him a 7.5 rating is that it was poor game management. Let's be honest. Bayern completely dominated. Leipzig were poor. But then in the second half, Leipzig were getting all these chances, all these counter-attacks. Control was being a bit lost in the midfield. Some of Bayern's players like Musiala, who was really breaking the press, Thomas Muller, those type of players were coming off the field, and this left Bayern stranded in attack. We had players like Coman and Sané, but they didn't really fit the 4-2-2-2 system that was being played. So I think that Nagelsmann should have kept these players on for longer. He should have controlled the game more, kept the big guns on for longer, and not let it get to a situation where it was 4-3 and Leipzig had about 5 minutes to really attack, and they almost scored. We almost didn't win our first trophy. Another thing that I would like to mention, though, is that the interchanging between Gnabry, Mané, Muller was excellent. They were constantly interchanging throughout. That's why Muller, even though he was on the right, he was often on the left, he was often in the centre, he was often up top. That's why I'm happy about it. It was interchanging, hard to deal with, but also it was just very attractive play, and I think maybe the second goal it was really attractive. Lots of pass into Muller, then Muller lays it back, and then it was just really nice. And I also enjoyed the well-worked corners, so we saw that Thomas Muller was standing at the first post, and Muller was the target of a few corners. And just like De Ligt's goal versus DC United, Muller flicked on some headers, and it led to good scoring opportunities. So good work off the training ground for Bayern. They also scored from a Bayern corner tactic. So I think the Bayern corner manager has done a great job in this one. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say for this match. I thought that Bayern were excellent. I thought it was a very good performance. I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy Thomas Muller was playing in the centre. I'm really happy Jamal Musiala played well. I'm really happy Sabitzer played well. I'm really happy Upamecano played well. And who knows, Lewandowski being gone could be a blessing in disguise. Bayern were more fluid. Bayern were more attractive. And it looks like Nagelsmann's team will be one of the teams in Europe to beat in the next season. What were your thoughts on the game, though? I'd like to know. I respond to all comments, so please comment. I like comments. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.